This is a short story written by Michael Strickland, narrated by Larry Oliver. My name is Buck.
Buck,
My father said to me.
I recognize that glint in your eyes, as I too wore that look when I was about your age, as well as my father and our forefathers before us. Let's go lay down by the stream and talk about what's on your mind, as well as rest my old rear leg for a short spell.
I followed behind my father as he painfully made his way to the nearby stream. I knew this could very well be the last winter my father walked these woods as he approached his 7th year here on earth, which was quite remarkable for our kind, considering the dwindling forest, as well as the ever deeper encroachment of our most feared enemy, man.
This looks like a good spot, Buck,
My father said as he slowly and painfully lowered his body to the ground. I came to rest beside him.
Looks like it's gonna be another cold winter, son,
My father said as he lifted his magnificent head, staring at the gray, overcast sky. He lowered his head and turned those beautiful brown eyes towards me and smiled.
So, you've decided to leave this forest of your birth. And you're surprised I know of your plans, aren't you?
Yes, Father, I am. How did you know? My father cut his eyes toward the slow-flowing stream and then back at me.
Because you are my son, and I too, when I was your age, had the same adventurous urge as you do now, as well as my father and his father, and all our forefathers of generations past.
But, Father, times are different now than they were in your day. Humans cut down more of our woods every day, and their weapons are ever more powerful, and their thirst for our blood even more relentless. I'm not a coward, Father, and I fear no animal in our woods, but I'm no match for an enemy you very seldom see, hidden in the trees or riding on horseback behind a pack of dogs, and brandishing weapons that can outrun the swiftest of our kind and the bravest of our breed. Yes, Father, I want to leave. I want to start and raise a family where the forest is whole and untouched by the destruction of man. I was hoping that you might know of such a place that I can search out while I'm still young and capable of escape from the treachery that has overtaken this land we presently live on. I knew my words had struck a chord with my father as he lowered his worn head in thought. I watched with guarded apprehension as he raised his head, and his watering eyes focused on mine.
There is a place,
My father spoke of that his grandfather had told him about often.
I don't know if such a place still exists today, or if it ever existed for that matter. Perhaps it's nothing more than fable passed down from one generation to another. And perhaps, though, there is such a place.
What kind of place? I asked with growing anticipation. I watched as my father attempted to make himself more comfortable upon the cold, hard ground. I had never seen the look in his eyes as I did now, and I knew at that moment that he was on this land he was about to tell me about, and oh, what a wonderful place it must be, by the gleam in his eyes and the smile creasing his lips. My father began his story.
There's a place that lies some 7 to 10 sunrises in that direction,
my father said, lifting his front leg, pointing in the direction.
You'll have to cross many streams of moving water in order to get there, with the last being the most difficult. You must wait for the big stream to turn towards the rising sun before you attempt to cross to the other side. Let the stream carry you as you swim towards the distant shore. If you fight against the power of the stream, you'll become tired and die. If you make it across alive, you'll set foot on the land our forefathers have spoken about.
Shallow streams blanketed in marsh grass crisscross the land, filled with creatures of every kind. A land of thick forest filled with great trees, with their limbs bending under the weight of berries and acorns as far as the eyes can see. And the dark blue sky will be speckled with the color of exotic birds soaring in the warm tropical air, praising the heavens with the most beautiful sounds you've ever heard. Vast rolling hills of white sand flow endlessly towards the great sea, filled with sea oats bending in the afternoon breeze. Follow the rolling hills of sand towards the rising sun, and you'll come to the place where the land meets the sea. It's told that you could swim for 1,000 sunrises and sunsets and never reach the other side. What about humans? Do they hunt for us there also? The gleam in my father's eyes faded with my question. I don't know, son, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do. It'd be hard to imagine that a place as beautiful and tranquil as the one I just spoke about wouldn't be inhabited by humans. You must remember, however, that long before the humans roamed these forests, other creatures of prey did. The great bear and the great cats once hunted in these woods, as they too liked the taste of our souls. The big difference is the bears and cats didn't destroy the very land they depended on. They killed to fill their own stomachs, as well as the stomachs of their families. Humans kill. I don't know what humans kill for, my father said, lowering his head. I must go in search of this place you've told me about. I have to see for myself if it's really there. It can't be any worse than where I am now. My father cut his eyes toward me as if to say, I wish I were as certain about that as you are. Little else was said between us, and I left for the promised land at daybreak the following morning. It had taken me nearly 14 sunrises to reach the fabled land my father had told me about. I was nearly killed many times by human machines racing up and down paved roads, and I had to leap many fences and dodge many humans to get here. I stand here in the brown marshland, alone beside a paved road, staring at several humans who stare back at me in wonderment on how it is I came to be here. I wonder the same, as nowhere to be seen is the vast forest or rolling hills of sand filled with sea oats. Nowhere to be seen are the exotic birds and their vibrant songs of joy. Nowhere to be seen is the black bear or large cats of prey. No, none of these things are visible to my tired, wanting eyes. All that is visible to me is a land decimated and ravaged by human machines. The majestic trees are gone, and the rolling hills have been flattened, and all that remains are paved roads and a sky cluttered with flying machines. Perhaps even worse is what I see standing before me snapping pictures, as if I were some creature from the past. Perhaps, though, they are right. I am a creature from the past, and I unexpectedly feel sorry for them. I'm glad now my father didn't come with me, as it would have broken his heart to see what's happened to his fabled land by the sea. I only wish I hadn't come. The end.